My name is Mae Bailey, and I came on staff in 1961. During the time when I was traveling the South Central states with my friend Jean Peach, I saw a couple on campus, and their marriage wasn't any good. There was tension, there was no oneness, and I felt grieved about that. And I told our director about it and assumed that he had done something. But a number of years later, like 6 years later, I was in another totally different part of the country, and that couple was in that part of the country, and I was visiting them, and their marriage was the same. So I went back to the national team meeting, and you know how those go. You sit around the table and the national campus team, and they everybody tells their stories of what's been happening. So I told them that on this journey I had come across this same couple, and as I said that, it surprised me and everybody in the room, but I started to cry. So much so that I put my head down on the desk and I just wept. And when I put my head up, Paul Eshelman, who was directing the meeting, said, "Well, Nay, what do you want us to do?" And I said, "Well, Paul, I don't know, but we've got to do something." So not long after that, Paul sent Dave and Sandy Sunday and me to the Continental Congress on the Family. Well, at that conference, the highlight for me was hearing from Dr. Howard Hendricks. He said that there were the three greatest reasons for marriage failure were inadequate teaching, unrealistic expectations, and inadequate preparation. And he said, frankly, if someone is not willing to prepare for marriage, I am not willing to marry them. And I thought, that's it. We've got to give our couples help. We've got to give them some help. And so the last day of the meeting, J. Allen Peterson, who had called this conference and was directing it, he got up on the stage and he said, "What burden are you leaving here with?" And he said the word burden in the Hebrew means an assignment from the Lord. And I knew what my burden was. And the person sitting next to me was Howie Hendricks' wife, Jean. And so we shared about our burdens. I came back, and what happened was we invited Don Meredith, who is an alum who had studied a lot about marriage, to come start the conferences. And it just took off like crazy. And then Dennis Rainey, a couple years later, took over. And now today, they have those kind of conferences all over the world, in almost every part of the world. You know, God says He chooses the foolish things to confound the wise, and you know, to think about a single woman being involved in helping to start a marriage conference. But that's one of the highlights of my life, to realize that that little seed that was planted, what it has become, because it was a God thing from beginning to end.